I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share it with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? It's your boy Jay, that's me. We're going to get into TNA No Surrender from February the 13th, 2026. This was a pretty okay show for the most part. Arianna Grace is the new TNA Knockout Champion, which is great. I love that. Smart decision there. And we'll talk about that. Trey Miguel is the new TNA International Champion. That's a good decision there. The main event of the show was pretty okay as well. We had a couple of run-ins. So, yeah. But all in all, the show itself was okay. So, we're going to get into the pre-show first, which I did watch. So, we're going to talk about that briefly, and then from there, we'll get into the main card. All right, so we kicked the pre-show off with Sinner and Saint. They defeat Brad, Attitude, and TW3. TW3 and Brad Attitude, they basically probably came from Explosion, and we've seen them on the main roster of TNA, basically. So, you know, there's that. Whatever, who cares? Sinner and Saint, they've been around for a minute. They were Eric Young henchman and Josh Alexander henchman. And Eric Young, you know, harassed them, and, you know, they're back, I guess, basically. They had visa issues, so whatever. Who cares? I mean, they win. It's not that important, so who cares? Moving on, Mike Jackson, the wrestler, who's like 67 years old. He's happy to be here, but Mantle won't accept the lander. They're coming to complain about how much time he's getting. Jackson says he stood across the ring from the biggest names in wrestling, and Mantle Warner isn't one of them. So a match is made for later on in the night. Moving on from that, this leads us into the second pre-show match that we were supposed to get, but it didn't happen. That was Alan Angels returning versus Ryan Nemeth. So Alan Angels, he came into TNA around 2024, then he ended up leaving, and then now he's back. So whatever, who cares? Frankie Kazarian comes out. He says that he signed a new contract and everything else and all that. He's going to get a big raise, which he's earned. He's going to be in the world title picture because he just lost the world title while wrestling with a broken hand. So he gets into it with Alan Angels. The two of them go back and forth. Alan Angels punches Frankie Kazarian, then challenges him to a match. Frankie wins via the crossface chicken wing, and that was it. Who cares about this shit? Again, I don't understand why TNA continues to use Frankie Kazarian, and he doesn't deserve a third match with Mike Santana. It makes no sense. Frankie lost fair and square at Genesis, and he also lost fair and square at the AMC premiere. Move on from Frankie Kazarian. He fucking sucks. Just make him a producer, please. Same with Eric Young. Let's move on. So we kicked the show off with the with the Knockouts Battle Royal. That was the first match of the night. It featured Jody Threat winning, but the participants were Mara Sade, Rosemary, Tessa Blanchard, Victoria Crawford, Mila Moore, Myla Grace, Harley Hudson, Jada Stone, and Jody Threat, Tasha Steeles, and Elena Black. Okay, that's fine. I don't know why Jody Threat won, but who cares? It's not important. It seems like they're just flip-flopping the Knockouts title, it seems like, basically. Well, not really, though. Not really. But Jody Threat shouldn't have won this match, though. It should have been either Elena Black or Tessa Blanchard. But whatever. Moving on. Mike Santana and Leon Slater, they're ready for the main event, with Mike Santana wanting to keep the grass mode so he can take them down. Leon Slater is glad to be back. He's not thinking about Option C tonight. And then Mike Santana threatens to eat Nick Namath and Eddie Edwards alive tonight. Okay, that's fine, whatever. Moving on, this leads us into Stax versus Trey Miguel. Jelly Roll was in the crowd, so he got a pretty okay little reaction. And also Teddy Swims, he was there too. Big fan of Teddy Swims. I like him. Jelly Roll, not so much. Trey Miguel wins. He wins via the Lightning Spiral. Makes perfect sense. So he's now the new international champion. Makes sense. Great. Clearly, they're still going to use Stacks on NXT television. Clearly, they're doing something with this second generation stable that he's a part of, along with Arianna Grace, Charlie Dempsey, Lexis King, and Brogan Finley. And we all know eventually in due time, his big brother, David Finley, will show up. So that'll be cool there. So that's fine. So whatever. This leads us into AJ Francis. He's out next. He shows up unannounced. He talks about the Seattle Seahawks winning the Super Bowl and compares himself to Bad Bunny. They're both rappers. They're both great wrestlers. And they're both stars. As for Jelly Roll, if he ever wants to cross the line, he'll see why TNA is AJ Francis' place. And then he's going to be on commentary for the rest of the night. Okay, whatever, who cares? This leads us into Mance Warner defeating Mike Jackson. Post-match, Mance shakes hands with Mike Jackson. Same thing with Step the Lander. Then this pisses off AJ Francis for whatever reason, and then he gets in the face of Step the Lander. He yells at her, and Mance Warner gets in his face, and they're about to come to blows, but they don't, and then that was the end of that segment there. So I'm guessing they're going to turn Mance babyface. That could be interesting, I guess, but who really gives a damn, really? Who cares? Like, I just don't. I don't. TNA needs some new stars. Moving on. So, this leads us into Arianna Grace. She's pissed off at Stacks, and so she yells at him for screwing up and threatens to break up with him if anything else goes wrong, so he can eat all the Valentine's Day candy by himself. All right, whatever. Who cares about this shit? Moving on. The Elegance Brand, M and Heather by Elegance, they defeat Indy Hartwell and Xia Brookside to retain the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships. So that's fine there. Post-match, the Elegance Brand, they beat up on Indy Hartwell and Xia Brookside. And Mickie James shows up to make the save. She gets a pretty okay reaction. And, you know, she's back. And she clears house. So I'm guessing they're going to do something with Mickie James and Ash by Elegance. Okay, that's cool. Good shit there. That's interesting. I actually do like that. I'm a fan of that. Moving on from that, this leads us into Eric Young defeating BDE. I didn't watch this. I don't give a damn about this shit. I really don't. What's this whole cleanse thing nonsense? Like, what's he doing with that no-name faction? Like, what are they doing with Eric Young? Again, the problem with TNA is get Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian and all these other old fucks off television and make them producers and bring in new talent. That's all you have to fucking do. It's not hard. Damn. Ugh. So, I don't know. Moving on, this leads us into Jody Threat. She's happy with her win, and she gets some applause from Harley Hudson and Myla Grace, my bad. So, Tessa Blanchard, she shows up along with her entourage. And then Tessa Blanchard challenges Jody Threat to a match on Impact. Okay, that's fine. Who cares, though? Moving on. This leads us into Arianna Grace defeating Lei Ying Lee, a.k.a. Xia Li. So, this match was okay. Danny Luna showed up in the middle of the match. She beat up some officials. She tried to get involved, but the officials were able to, calm her down or whatever. So she got taken to the back. Then Lei Ying Lee had the match won, but Arianna Grace used the Cobra that she stole from her pops on Impact. She hit Lee with that, and then she ended up hitting a Fisherman's Netbreaker, which was awesome for the 1, 2, 3. So I like that. Really cool stuff there. No, she actually wins via a German suplex. My bad. Okay, so that's cool. I like it. It's fine. This makes sense. This is interesting. This is really interesting. I like it. Let's see where this goes. We all knew that Yaling Lee was going to be a transitional champion anyway, because she won it in Gold Rush, which was the middle of December of last year for NXT. She won it. I think it was either week 1 or week 2. I think it was week 1. No, week 2 is when she won it. So that was basically mid-December. So she only had it for not even 2 months, about maybe 50 days or something like that or whatever. But she didn't have it for two months straight. But it's fine. It is what it is. This is great. I like it. I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do with Arianna Grace. Now, she probably won't have this long anyway. The title's going to either go to Dani Luna or maybe Elena Black. But I think what they need to do is give the title to Dani Luna, and then we feud Dani Luna with Tessa Blanchard and Elena Black. That would be great, because those are your best 3 knockouts that you have, really, that really anybody cares about. Those are the only 3 knockouts that are really worth for them, really, at this point. So, whatever. I like what they're doing with Arianna Grace. Moving on. So, Rich Swann, he's given BDE a pep talk. And he's got a video game controller. I think they're playing Xbox or PlayStation. It doesn't matter. But he says BDE's been playing a bit too long, and now Uncle Swan's ready to give him a tutorial in wrestling, but it's time to game first. Okay, that's fine. I guess they're going to make BDE and Swann basically like a tag team, which is fine. Swann's a vet. He's been around for basically 20 years. So, yeah. Okay, that's interesting there. Moving on, this leads us into the Order 4 versus the Righteous / the Hardys. I didn't watch this match at all. I really didn't. The Hardys ended up winning, so that's fine there. No. The Order 4, they ended up winning. I'm sorry. I thought the Hardys and them were going to win, but the Order 4 win. Mustafa Ali hits the 450 splash on Matt Hardy, and that was all she wrote. I didn't watch the match. I would assume that Vincent and Dutch walked out. I would assume, but I don't know. I might go back and watch the match here. I might go back and watch it, maybe. I don't know. I don't really give a damn, if we're being honest. I don't. Because I'm not a fan of 8-man tags, right? It's boring. 8-man tags, 6-man tags, 10-man tags. Shit's boring as fuck. That's just what it is, right? And this leads us into Santino Marella. He tries to talk to Arianna Grace, but he gets Daria Ray instead. Daria Ray threatens him. If anything happens, don't bother looking for the sock. Do anything to anyone, he'll be fired. Okay, whatever. Main event of the evening, Leon Slater and Mike Santana, they defeat Eddie Edwards and Nick Nemeth. So, that's fine. There was a run-in, several run-ins in this match. So, the System, they showed up, and they went after Mike Santana. No. My bad. I'm sorry. So, Steve Maclin showed up. So, they've done this angle 2 weeks ago, where Maclin got Fister fired. He ended up getting fired. In storyline, basically. So, basically, we know that Maclin is really actually signed with TNA, obviously. So he showed up. Him and Mike Santana, they ended up brawling to the back and stuff. The system, they come out to beat down on Leon Slater. Moose comes in to basically save the day. He fights Eddie Edwards and the system to the back. Then it's down to Nick Namath and Leon Slater. And Leon Slater ends up winning via the 450 splash wonton bomb for the 1-2-3. And that was all she wrote. Okay, that's cool there. I like this. This makes perfect sense. Clearly, they have something planned for Maclin and Mike Santana. They got to do that match at some point. And I'm glad, I'm glad what they're doing with Maclin. I like this. I figured they were going to re-sign him anyway. It makes perfect sense. He wasn't going to go to AEW. He wasn't going to go back to WWE at all. So TNA is really the perfect place for him. And I like what they're doing with Maclin. So that's good there. I really do. I don't know what they're going to do once Mike Santana is done with Maclin. You got Nick Namath. You got Eddie Edwards. Who do you have that's a credible heel that can beat Mike Santana? You don't have anybody, right? You don't. So I don't know what they're going to do. Because Maclin can easily beat... Mike Santana can easily beat Eddie Edwards, Nick Namath, and Steve Maclin with ease. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what you're going to do in that main event scene. That main event scene needs some help. But this was a pretty okay show. I liked it. Trey Miguel winning gold is great. Same with Arianna Grace. I like that. So, good stuff there. And Steve Maclin being back is pretty cool. But what did you guys think of No Surrender? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.